Hey guys, today is day 17 of your 30-day journey to healing, and we've been talking quite a bit about internal things, dealing with yourself first. And as I've mentioned before, I believe that we have to deal with ourselves first before we can have healthy exchange and healthy interaction and healthy relationships with other people. If you've missed any of my videos during the first 16 days, I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel and watch those. Somebody recently told me that I should start a YouTube page or channel, and I told them, well, I do have one, and several people said they had no idea that I had one, and it's because I don't share my YouTube channel. I do a lot of the stuff that I do just because I enjoy doing it or just for the fun of it. Don't do it for attention or for numbers or anything like that or for the number of views. I do it because it's the stuff that I enjoy. So I am now telling people that I have a YouTube channel, for those of you who said that I should share that with people, that some people would like to know. So now that I've said it, go over and subscribe or like or whatever they call it on YouTube. I think it's subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch the videos that I have on there. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that basically, hey, you got to be authentic. Being authentic is so important. Now, when I say be authentic, I'm not talking about sharing all of your personal business with people. When you hear a lot of people say, be transparent, be open, be real, be 100 or whatever. Now, some people prefer to tell all their business to other people or to everybody, and that's fine. That's their personal choice. But don't let anybody make you feel like you're not authentic if you're not telling all of your personal business. There are some things that you don't need to share with everyone. There are some things that there's only a select few people that need to know that you're dealing with. If it's marital problems or you're struggling sometimes with things like sexuality, if you're struggling with maybe some major life issues, or you're having medical issues, or you're having mental health issues, those are not things that you want to necessarily tell everybody about. I've seen people do that just for the sake of being authentic, and then they ended up facing ridicule and criticism, and then they ended up not healing. It slowed down the healing process instead of helping the healing process. So don't make people feel like you've got to spill all the beans regarding your life. You get to choose what you let other people know. But I do encourage you to have a couple people that you can talk to if you are having any major issues, because nobody should feel that they have to walk around with everything, the weight of the world on their shoulders. I have like 3 people I know that I can talk to about anything. And believe me, I have them on speed dial. I called a couple of them. Well, I called one of them this week. And of course, one of them I live with. So, but yeah, one of them's been, and you know who you are, has been receiving calls from me this week. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, we all need people that we can trust and bounce ideas off of. If you're on the verge of trying to make a decision, or you're on the verge of trying to achieve or accomplish something that's a big deal to you, you need to have somebody that's going to be honest with you, that's going to they're going to be authentic with you. So anyway, don't live a lie. I encourage you to be congruent, to have some congruence with what's going on with you internally and what's going on externally. So for example, if you are someone who is, you're not being faithful to your husband or wife, and you're at home pretending to be so in love and everything's perfect, and you're around your family and friends and everything's perfect, but then you are having affairs when you leave home, that's not being authentic. That's being a fraud and a phony. So you should maybe consider not doing that. If you are pretending to be a really good friend and always telling your friend, oh, I'm here for you, I love you, you can trust me, but then you're telling all of your other friends that friend's business, then you're not being authentic. You're being a fraud. You're being a phony, and you're not trustworthy. Now, there are, like I said, should be 1 or 2 people that you can talk to if there's something going on. If you talk to a counselor or your pastor about something that's going on with your family members or your friends, and it's something that you're dealing with, it's not gossip. But if you're talking to somebody that's not a trustworthy source, like a counselor or your pastor, about a friend or a family member or an issue you're having with a family or member or friend, that's a problem. So, gossiping is not authentic at all. So you should stop that if you're doing it. Okay. Being honest in situations where you need to be honest. If someone asks you a question and you don't want to lie, that's completely different. That's a different situation. So anyway, don't live a lie. Now, another thing that I want to say is say what you feel. If a family member or a friend says or does something that hurts you, be honest with them. Do not act like it didn't happen. Face the music, deal with the conflict. Tell them how you feel and what they did wrong. Give them an opportunity to make it right. Okay? Because if you don't, you end up releasing a large volcano, a huge volcano at some point, and it can become very messy and destructive if you don't deal with it initially with that person. Okay. And sometimes when you tell that person what they did wrong, you will find out that their intentions weren't what you thought they were. You'll find out that sometimes that, they actually meant something completely opposite than how you took it. So give them an opportunity to try and make things right. And just remember, if you don't, resentment and anger, it's going to build up. It's going to be toxic. It's going to be exhausting. And it's going to be destructive, and it's not going to do you or anybody else any good. So be honest and give them an opportunity to make things right. Okay. So just also making sure that, just knowing that anger is just never healthy, period. It's not good for you. It's not good for the other person. So don't distance yourself. If you're the person that's on the receiving end of that anger and resentment that's built up because your loved one didn't tell you what you did wrong, and you've been walking around thinking everything's fine, and you all of a sudden find out that everything's not fine, and then they're angry with you, you're on the receiving end of that volcano. Hey, just make sure that you do the same thing. Face the music, ask questions, provide support. Okay, what did I do wrong? What's going on? I had no idea that you were feeling this way. Why didn't you tell me? And don't get angry because they didn't tell you. More than likely, they didn't tell you because they didn't want to be bothered by it. They didn't want to be angry or hurt by it. And so they tried not to be. They weren't authentic. And so there was no congruence with what they were feeling inside compared to what they were feeling outside. So, don't be angry about it, but just provide the support that they need once you do learn that you've hurt them. Because by you getting angry, it's just going to be the two of you locking horns, and it's not going to be healthy. So just provide support. Don't avoid them and say, hey, I'm not dealing with that. They should have told me. Some people are like, well, they'll get over it. Let me stay over here in my safe zone until they're over it. That doesn't tend to do well either. Just provide support and be present. Okay. So, and if you are the person that's holding on to that anger, don't stay stuck. Okay. Staying stuck is very unhealthy. You got to release it. You have to deal with it. And like I said earlier, if you need to come in, talk to me about it. My number is 618-717-2732. If you need to schedule an appointment, talk to a very close friend, somebody who's going to be honest with you, and somebody who is not going to go back and tell everything that you're saying. So it needs to be a trustworthy source, your pastor, a counselor, or a very, very close friend. And depending on how sensitive the information is, I would go with a counselor or a pastor. And also depends on who is involved with the information that you're going to be discussing. If you're talking about issues with your spouse, you certainly want to talk to a trusted source so everything's confidential. Anyway, don't stay stuck. Just start over, do better, make some changes internally, because if nothing changes inside, nothing's going to change outside. So you have to change the way you think about the situation. Try to find some positives in the situation, even when it's bad. If it's your marriage, just because the marriage isn't going well, there are some problems. Well, ask yourself what's going well in the marriage. Same thing with your friendships. You might have a really close friend and, you might be angry with them. They may have done or said something that was really hurtful. And, don't throw the friendship away because they said something hurtful. Consider the history of the friendship. Are they always hurtful? Is this person habitually taking stabs at you and saying and doing things to make you upset? Or was this an isolated event and this is a friend that's always kind to you, that's always taking your emotional well-being into consideration, and somehow they just kind of lost it this one time? So, hey, be honest, be authentic. I want you to journal about authenticity. What areas are you lacking authenticity in your life? And I want to hear about it later. So, hey, have a good night. See you on day 18 tomorrow. Bye.